Hello, everybody. I'm Paul Ryden. You may have said to your significant other at some time in your relationship, "How do I love thee? Let me count the ways." Well, here's a better idea. Give him or her a copy of The Essence of a Crimson Heart. That may express what you're trying to say. It's a lovely book of poetry written by our guest today, Sophie A. Lille. Sophie, so great to have you with us.
Well, thank you for having me, Paul. It's a pleasure being here today and with everyone. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You are coming from a romantic Canada. We spent our honeymoon in Canada 44 years ago, and it's just a lovely place. We took the train from Jasper to Vancouver, and
Wow,
it was just
beautiful.
lovely. Does that inspire you as far as romance writing?
Sure, why not? You know what? Nature is a beautiful thing. So I think taking the train, there's a lot, you can see out there and beautiful.
Now,
Absolutely.
now this is your second book of poetry. First, there was Whispering Soul, and now The Essence of a Crimson Heart. Have you always been such a romantic?
I think I have been down deep. Yes. I have been over the years been accused of that, but that's not going to change.
Well, it's not
That's
a bad thing. That's,
I don't think so. But you know what? I bring that out in people, and then it's like, some people are afraid of that, right? I really think it's important to love yourself and to love others. I think we need that more than ever right now.
well, I think there's a lot of empathy in what you write and how you live.
Yes,
You've
absolutely.
you've described yourself as an empath, I think, for that
I
reason.
am. Yes, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Have you always been in a good place in your life, or have you experienced the chaos that the rest of us have felt and used that for inspiration?
Absolutely, it's been a tough road.
Mm.
I won't deny that. Um, and I think when you're younger and you're going through all this stuff and not really understanding um, why this is happening to you, especially when you know you care and you want to help and blah, 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 blah. But growing up, not understanding that you are, in factual, like you're an empath and not really knowing or no one ever telling you that. Except, oh, you're so sweet. You're so sweet. Okay, great. Thanks for being sweet, but why is it tough road for me? So um I just went within, being an empath and my past career of many years dealing with people, um, that helped me a lot. And I think by doing that, I'm like, okay, now I'm retired from that and I touch people. So it's like, how can I continue touching people? So writing was a way, but not being in full contact because I am an energy seeker. So I pick up and I can feel people. So I could be all happy all of a sudden. And then if somebody's sad, it's like, oh, what's wrong? And they're like, how do you know there's something wrong? Like, it's hard to explain, but if you're an empath, you'll understand that. And maybe for those people out there that don't get it, will know that, yeah, it's out there.
Well, what
It,
was that past career of yours?
I was a stylist.
Of
Hairstylist, yeah, hairstylist for
Oh, hairstylist, because there's clothing stylists and
yes,
interior
no
stylists.
hair. So of course you're touching people, right? You're touching, you're looking, you're feeling like
Yeah,
it's all
literally.
you are. So I would really pick up a lot of that from them.
Yeah, you know what? I had my when I was getting my hair cut recently, I asked the guy. I said, "What's your favorite part of your job?" And he said, "This." Just, being able to be in contact with your customers and hearing what they have to say and having that conversation. And for somebody who's an empath, I can't guess that would really be a good part of it. But
Yes,
now I've
sure.
noticed that the first few poems of yours that I read dealt with loss, and it seems very personal. Is that how you deal with the pain in your life?
Yes. I think writing was a good way for me. Not everybody wants to hear your woes. I'm a good listener, but
Uh-huh.
I find when it's time for me to express, a lot of people don't know how to deal with me because I get really deep and really involved. So I think writing I just figured it out that maybe I need to write, and just help heal. And so that's what I did. And then I thought, I could help other people because I know a lot of my writing that I've put out there with life experiences, because people have read my stuff and they've said, wow, this pertains to me. I'm like, good, good. This is why I'm doing it. I want to help others, that, you're not alone.
Mhm.
And if you go within, which is hard, there's a lot of pain there, I think, because I know everybody's going through stuff. And if you try to tell me you're not, well, that's a little fib, I'd say.
Yeah.
Uh, so you have to be open to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, love is a theme that runs through your writing, but is there more than just pretty words on the page?
I
As
think
you say,
there's
you get pretty deep.
I do get deep, the vulnerability of myself in expressing. Um, there's good and bad. I mean, you have to go through that. Um, I think there's tools there, and I think you just kind of have to read it. And it's the way I've done it, to capture like the audience, sort of, or the reader, I
Mhm.
guess you could say. Audience now, reader in the book. Um, to catch what I'm trying to say, and maybe they'll feel that if they're open to it, they will.
Mhm.
Or they'll read it over and over and like, what's the message? Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of how I did it. I don't know, Paul, how to explain it. It's just the way it came out in my heart, and then I wrote it because it was an experience.
I was reading about forgiveness this morning on a different
That's a big one.
platform, and I think that comes through a lot in your writing as well, too. That theme of forgiveness and how hard it is not only to forgive other people, but harder still to forgive yourself.
Yes, and I think if you're if you've been through a lot in your life and gone through a lot of, messy situations or whatever, and a lot of it's not your fault. I think a lot just happens because it's a path, it's a lesson, and we need to learn from it. And sometimes we just keep going in circles, and sometimes we figure it out. And I think the forgiveness part of all that to me is a lot of people can do you wrong. It could be the state that they're in. We don't know always what they're going through.
Right.
And so we make judgment, and we can't always do that, even though we're human and we tend to do that. I
Yeah.
think it's human for us to do that. So I think the forgiveness part is try to go to that person or situation, whatever it is that is not good, deal with it and tell them, hey, I forgive you. But I mean, you have to mean it. You can't just say it.
Mhm.
And then forgive yourself. And I think by doing that, you have no regret and you're able to move forward. But it's not always easy letting go. And when people have hurt you, and trust me, I've been through lots of stuff, and I know they didn't do it on purpose. It's probably just something they're doing and don't really get it. But people grow and
Yeah.
change, hopefully. So,
And chances are, if you're hanging on to a grudge or something, that other person really isn't thinking about it anymore, and
no.
it's really hurting you more than it's hurting them. They've forgotten all about it, and yet you're eaten up inside until you forgive.
And exactly. And what can I do to convince them differently? That's been a big thing for me. And now I'm like, you know what? I don't go there anymore. I've learned that lesson. Like, you say your piece, so I have no regret. They can like it or not, but I forgive you, I forgive myself, and I can move on, because that's a block. That's a blockage in life. And guess what? If that it's within, it's deep, and it's kind of like a scar, could be like a scar, I guess. Then you can't move on. And when there's good things maybe coming to you, you've blocked it
Yeah, yeah.
because
I'm
you're
interested. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm interested in what your writing process is and how you take all those things you were just talking about and use that as inspiration, or do you write every day, or do you wait for some horrible thing to happen and then you are inspired, or do you wait for something lovely to happen and you're inspired by that? Do you just wait for the muse, or do you write every day?
No, I haven't been writing right now. I got lots of other things on the go right now. I'm taking a little bit of a break, but with my writing, you're right. It's in the moment. I'm just like chilling out, or I might be out somewhere, or I'm at a park, or I'm taking a walk, or I see something, and then bingo, oh, I gotta, if I can remember that, or I'll record it on my
Yeah,
phone
right.
and then sit back at home and then write it into words. Yeah, that's it. It's almost like it just comes to me.
Mhm.
And then of course there is some stuff there with experience. So when I'm feeling maybe a little bit, blue or happy, then that's when I'm like, oh, I think I'm gonna write that because I gotta do that. I gotta do that. Yeah. So that's
So
kind of
it's
it.
therapeutic.
Yeah.
Have you been inspired by other writers, other poets?
I I haven't done I think I read some like in the past when I was younger. I think I was always because I love the lovey part. Like I'm a lover at heart. Like I just love to love.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, I know, but it's hard on, people are like, "Oh, you're needy, you're this or that." I'm like, "That's not needy, that's love. We need that." Um, so to answer your question, not really. I haven't really done a lot of reading because I want to be able to stay on my path, and I don't want to get on maybe reading somebody else's stuff and maybe taking stuff like, like maybe I'm a little cautious of that, like just worried, if I go into somebody else's book, I'm like, oh, this is really good. Maybe I could use this. Like, I don't want to do that. So I'm just doing what I do.
Well, David Sedaris, the humorist, has said that he feels sorry for people who don't write because if something bad happens to them, all they can do is just stew about it. But writers can at least, and in your case, can put it into words and maybe not only help yourself but help others in the process.
That's the plan.
What do you
Yes.
hope readers get from this book?
I hope that people can make changes within. I think that's a hard one. I think a lot of people are trapped within, um, and in are bleh, and are in denial about a lot of stuff. So I think, my book could help that. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Uh,
you know um because I'm being vulnerable, and I'm expressing exactly, my romantic stuff. I'll do whatever, or people that have hurt me, or family, or friends, or coworkers in the past, or everyday life. um I think people need to know that you're not alone, and if you go within, and that's hard, you can clean up some stuff that's really, really been traumatic. And I think the scars will always be there. I don't think they ever really leave because subconsciously they're there, but you learn to let go, forgive. And I think that's the answer. Like it has been for me.
and of
I,
course,
yeah.
the question I want to ask very quickly here is what is the essence of a Crimson Heart?
It is, we all have one, we all have a heart, and I think we all need to open it up more and not have any fear, and just be kind and smile and be that helping hand to others, because I see a lot of people are more sticking into themselves. They're not, you know, giving that support that people need. And It's really, really important. I really believe that. Looking at our world right now, it's a scary world. And I think we just need to give a lot more love out there to help know that you're not alone, and we'll help each other get where we need to get to.
Of all the poems in your book, what's your favorite?
I knew you were going to ask that. I like
Ah,
that.
then you
I
should have been prepared.
and I should have been prepared, and I'm not. Isn't that
Hey, hey,
awful?
be glad I didn't ask you to recite it.
Well, I could grab my book and look real quick.
Well, you could, but we're out of time.
Okay. So, you know what? They're all good to me, obviously. There's no really favorite, I think. It's just they're all about me and people that I've encountered with. So,
Well, if they're about you, then they're also about other people because
oh,
nobody is totally unique,
that's
right?
right. That's
I should
right.
say nobody is unique. You can't be totally unique. I keep forgetting you can't modify unique. Anyway, a writer. I'm a grammar nerd. Sorry.
That's okay.
Well, folks, you don't have to wait for a special holiday to express love. Anytime is the right time to share Sophie's message of love. And what a wonderful gift it would be to receive The Essence of a Crimson Heart. It's available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and Indigo as well.
Yeah,
And of course, you can learn more about Sophie and her work on her website, SophieALille.com. Right?
that's it.
Hey,
That's
Sophie,
correct.
thanks so much for visiting with us today. It was a real pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. And thank you for spending a few minutes with us today on Global Book Network. I'm Paul Ryden. I'll see you next time.